Right now, all eyes are on Ohio as voters weigh in on major races. And tonight, we have crews spread out all across the state as final votes are cast.
One key race is in the U.S. Senate. I'm Kevin Landers in the Cleveland suburb of Westlake, where we're following the Bernie Moreno campaign, the confidence he has heading into tonight.
And just miles away, candidate Matt Dolan is hoping support from the governor will carry him to November. I'm Colin Dorsey outside Cleveland, where Dolan's team eagerly awaits tonight's results.
In an intense battle in Franklin County, I'm Tara Jabor live in Columbus following the prosecutor's race in the history that could be made in November. A special edition of 10 TV News at 6 starts right now.
We start right away with a live look at one of the many polling locations here in Columbus as voters weigh in on everything from the presidential nominee to tax levies and that highly anticipated Senate race. Thanks for joining us at 6 on this election day. I'm Andrew Kinsey.
And I'm Yolanda Harris. We begin this evening with the Senate race that's getting national attention. Starting our team coverage tonight is 10 TV's Kevin Landers. He joins us live in the Cleveland suburbs at Senate candidate Bernie Moreno's watch party. Kevin?
Well, good evening. The latest poll numbers from Ohio Northern University from March 6th show a slugfest between Bernie Moreno and Matt Dolan. If you believe the polls right now, Moreno with 22% of the votes, followed by Matt Dolan with 18%, and then Frank LaRose with 16%. Depending on those polls and depending on the independent voters, it is a slugfest at this point. 57-year-old Bernie Moreno is bat for his second attempt at winning the GOP nomination for the U.S. Senate after falling short in 2022. This time he has the backing of the most influential Republican in the nation, former President Donald Trump.
If you believe in America first, if you believe that the Republican Party under President Trump is the future of the party, a party that puts the interest of America first, then vote for me.
A Colombian immigrant, Moreno made his reputation in Northeast Ohio as a luxury car dealer. Initially a critic of former President Donald Trump, he has since sought President Trump's nomination and is the only one in the Senate race that received President Donald Trump's nomination. We'll be following the Moreno campaign throughout the night. Now we'll head it over to Colin Dorsey, who's following Matt Dolan's campaign.
Yeah, Kevin, thanks. State Senator Matt Dolan, this is his second run for the Republican nomination for that U.S. Senate seat. And Dolan has pumped a lot of his own money into this race. Recent campaign finance reports show just in the first 2 months of this year, he put $2 million of his own money into it. That brings his total contributions of personal cash to $9 million for this run. Dolan did get an endorsement from Governor Mike DeWine and former Senator Rob Portman. He also claims the endorsement of 20 Republican sheriffs in the state. Both of these, he believes, are proof he can unseat Democrat Senator Sherrod Brown come November, especially when it comes to immigration and the nation's borders.
I saw Sherrod Brown on Meet the Press tell the country that when he travels the state of Ohio, he doesn't hear anyone talking about immigration or the border except for the far right. And I knew right then and there, we will never solve the problems facing our country if Sherrod Brown gets 6 more years in the United States Senate.
Now, I intend to talk with the state senator here momentarily about how he feels as we get closer to the close of polls tonight and how he feels this is different from his run in 2022. Live in Brecksville, Ohio, Colin Dorsey, 10 TV News.
The third Republican candidate in the race for Senate is current Secretary of State Frank LaRose. Now, before serving as Secretary, LaRose served 2 terms in the state Senate. He's also a U.S. Army Green Beret and right now serving in the Army Reserves. We spoke with LaRose earlier this month on 10 TV's Face the State. He talked about his stance on domestic and foreign policy as well as the economy.
We also need to focus on making sure that people know that Ohio is a great place to live, work, and raise a family. Low cost of living, high quality of life. We need to continue to invest in that quality of life, including our schools and our local communities.
Now, coming up during our election coverage special tonight at 7, we will be live from the LaRose Watch Party in Columbus. Andrew and Yolanda?
All right, Angela, thanks so much. Joining us in studio now is 10 TV's political reporter Doug Petcash.
And Doug, you know, we've been hearing from all the experts this year saying that the Senate race is one of the most important and most watched in the nation. Why is that? Why is that?
Well, first of all, analysts say that Republicans feel it is a winnable race. Okay. So that's, going to be a lot of money involved in this race. Also, they feel that It could determine the balance of power in the Senate. The race for the Republican nomination for Senate is among the most expensive contests of the 2024 cycle. You heard Colin talking about it a little bit. With Moreno and Dolan pouring some of their personal fortunes into their campaigns, political ad spending totals more than $40 million on the GOP side. University of Cincinnati political science professor David Niven says that total could pale in comparison to what will be spent on the Senate race in the general election.
Ohioans are used to being the center of the universe in presidential campaigns. We're not that anymore, but we are going to be the center of the universe in the Senate campaign. And you're seeing numbers, both parties talking about hundreds of millions of dollars going into this race. You know, $500 million is the potential total in a Senate race. I mean, this is going to be a saturation campaign on both sides.
Yeah, maybe $500 million in a Senate race. And another interesting note, Niven says no Republican has lost a statewide race in Ohio except for the Republicans running against Sherrod Brown.
Sherrod's been around a while. He's a well-known
Since
name.
2007, going fourth term.
Wow. All right, we'll see
watch
how it
how
goes.
it plays out tonight,
Yes,
too.
we will. Thanks, Doug. Well, here in Franklin County, there's yet another close race. This one, though, is on the Democratic ballot. Right now, 3 Democrats and 1 Republican are fighting for the spot to be the Franklin County prosecutor. Tonight, that race will narrow to 1 Democrat and 1 Republican.
10 TV's Tara Jabor picks up our live election coverage tonight. And Tara, we got the chance to talk with all of those candidates about why they believe their experience is best for this job. How did they weigh in on that?
Well, it's a big night for Democrats in this Franklin County prosecutor's race. All of the candidates have different backgrounds, they have different work history and different life experiences that they believe is best for the job. Starting with Shayla Favor. Right now, she's a member of Columbus City Council. She also used to be the assistant city attorney for Columbus. Anthony Pearson right now is the deputy chief legal counsel for the Franklin County prosecutor's office. Natalia Harris is the Delaware city attorney, and John Rutan has been a defense attorney for 13 years. Here's what each candidate had to say about their experience.
I can find that niche where we can help the people and not over prosecute people, but also hold people accountable who commit crimes, especially violent crimes.
I served as an assistant city attorney with the Columbus City Attorney's Office, where I worked in what is now called the Property Action Team, but it is a division that works to not only address criminal activity in our communities. That could be anything from gun violence to violent crime, human trafficking.
As city attorney I describe it as the functional equivalent of the county prosecutor's office, in that I lead an office that has both a criminal division where the criminal prosecution happens, and then also a civil division.
The last 13 years I've been running my own firm, fighting for equal justice and fairness, and it's finally realized that I can, instead of fighting, I can take the job and help everybody.
And coming up tonight at 7 o'clock, calling out the competition, Shayla Favor is calling out Anthony Pearson's campaign. We'll tell you what this is all about. We'll also tell you how each campaign is responding tonight. Reporting live in downtown Columbus, Tara Jabor, 10 TV News.
All right, thank you, Tara. Now, meanwhile, tonight, several school districts in our area are going to be closely watching results because of levies on the ballot. One of those districts is Olentangy, and that district is hoping to build 5 new schools.
Let's continue our live team coverage tonight. 10 TV's Carly Dion is standing by outside the Olentangy School District Administrative Offices in Lewis Center. Carly.
Yeah, tonight I spoke with the superintendent and the treasurer of Olentangy Schools, and they tell me they're excited and anxious as they await the results of the levy. Now, this $4.25 mil levy would cost homeowners an additional $150 for every $100,000 in property value a year. The district tells us this funding would be used to build 5 new schools to accommodate 5,000 students over the next 10 years. The goal is to open 2 schools in the fall of next year and to open a high school in the fall of 2027. Superintendent Todd Meyer explains what they'll be forced to do if voters do not pass the levy tonight.
It will continue to increase class sizes across our district in all of our buildings. We may have to look at how we continue to accommodate the growth, because the growth will continue to come. And one strategy that we use when our buildings are over capacity, we add trailer classrooms outside of the school to accommodate that growth. So we'll definitely have to look at that moving forward.
Now, coming up tonight at 7, I'll have more from the district treasurer about why, if the levy does not pass, the cost of the project will increase. Live in Lewis Center, Carly Dion, 10 TV News.
Carly, thanks so much. Here's a look at the other school levies voters are weighing in on tonight across the state. In Lincoln County, Heath City Schools asking voters there to approve a bond issue and levy to build a new elementary and improve schools there. In Union and Madison County, the Fairbanks local school district is asking voters to approve a 0.25% income tax hike and a property tax to complete renovating the shared middle and high school building. There's also issues on the ballot for Madison Plains local schools, Norfolk, and the Taze Valley local school district.
Well, the Norwich Township Fire Department is also asking its residents to pass a levy in March. The money from the $4.9 million permanent levy would be used to increase staffing levels, add a 4th ambulance, a 2nd ladder truck, and help construct a 4th fire station. The department tells 10 TV the levy is needed because the cost of trucks and equipment has increased. Plus, with the growth in the area, the department needs to add personnel.